Hello, I'm Bea Cupin, and you're watching Rappler. 2020 was a wild year for everyone, for a lot of people, and no doubt our guest for Rappler Talk knows how crazy 2020 was. In July, a House committee denied ABS-CBN a new network franchise, forcing them to retrench thousands of employees. Not to mention, months before that, a lot of the productions in entertainment and even in news halted because of the coronavirus pandemic. For a while, there was a lot of uncertainty, not just with ABS-CBN Entertainment, but I think Philippine entertainment in general. And then our guest goes on camera and announces a new lineup of ABS-CBN movies, shows, and other projects in the works. So as we speak right now, most, if not all of their stars are busy taping, yung lock and taping, of course, taping and working on new projects. So, what is the future of ABS-CBN Entertainment? We're very honored to have with us for Rappler Talk, the head of entertainment production and star magic for ABS-CBN, Laurenti Dyogi. Hi, sir.
Hi, Bea. Magandang araw sa iyo, Bea.
Salamat for making time for us. I know it's always like you're always on. So thank you for finding time for this interview. Lalo na kasi parang ang busy nga ng ABS, ang busy ng ABS-CBN Entertainment in particular ngayon. Like every time I interview your stars, it's always like, oh wait, may taping si ganyan, may promotion pa pala sila ganyan. Ang dami nangyayari ngayon.
Kaya nakakagulat nga yun, di ba? Nawalan kami ng franchise, akala namin titigil ang mundo. But management encouraged us to continue creating content. We realize and we're solidifying our position as a major content creator, not only in the Philippines, but hopefully globally. So, hindi naman titigil. Hindi naman tayo mapipigilan. Gagawa tayo ng paraan.
Okay, so we're like 10 days, 9 days, 10 days into 2021. Ang dami na nangyayari, pero I want to like go back lang to 2020. Parang ikaw, paano mo personally na-process or na-process mo na ba yung dami na nangyari sa 2020, particularly when you're talking about ABS-CBN?
Alam mo, just to share, sa pamilya ko, we have a family tradition every year, bago mag-New Year, meron kaming parang planning for the family, and part of it is looking back. It was a struggle for us to look back because it was really very painful. Very painful experience. Ang dami nangyari sa personal na buhay, sa trabaho, sa bansa. So, nahirapan kaming to look back. So, kung na-process ko na ba, matagal na proseso yun eh. Para ka kasing namatayan. Para ka namatayan, na nasunugan, na abuso, na lahat ng I've never experienced as much anxiety and stress na naidulot ng 2020. Not only security ng trabaho, pero security natin sa yung talagang life and death. It was a matter of life and death. And considering I have two elders in my residence, my father-in-law and my mother, they're really, one is 87, one is 92. So napakahirap for me, my wife, and my child to just manage keeping everybody safe. Tapos yung at the same time, dinaanan namin na that congressional hearings, even if I was not in the panel, we were part of the team that was preparing the people who would face Congress. So, ang sakit, ang hirap. And then just watching it on TV, I was just forcing myself na hindi kailangan ko, I have to be with them, kahit in spirit, and to go through it. But it was really, really very painful. Pero, buhay pa tayo. Hindi lang naman sa amin to unique, di ba? Ang dami naman nangyari sa maraming kumpanya. Even to Rappler, you had a tough time. So, buhay pa tayo. And we're still alive and kicking, and we survived it. So I suppose we're stronger for 2021.
Right. I mean, I know this hasn't been like under highlighted, like the emotional struggles. But I just remember, sir, kasi I attended one of the rallies. I'm not sure if this was before the committee denial or it was after. But I distinctly remember, I think I saw you, but I wasn't sure it was you. And then I saw several people from Black Sheep who I could recognize despite having the face mask. So naalala ko, so parang they called your name and then I think nag-breakdown sila bigla. Tapos parang ako, parang that's when it sinks in that, this isn't just a question of parang on the abstract na si ABS-CBN na walang ng prangkisa. Parang alam mo yun, may iyak involved kasi may mga buhay na apektado um, by what was happening, obviously.
We sort of prepared for it, Bea, pero iba talaga pag nandun na, pag nangyayari na.
Right.
Hindi mo explain, you can never be ready for the eventuality of yun na nga, na the franchise will be denied. Then again, nangyari, no? So, di ka naman pwede magwallow dun sa, we just all have to move on and try to survive because ang dami pa rin buhay na nakasalalay, ang dami pa rin kabuhayan na nakasalalay sa kumpanya. Sadly, we had to retrench a number of people, but for those who stayed and we were able to keep tuloy ang buhay, tuloy ang paggawa ng content, at tuloy ang pangarap, di ba? Even a lot of our artists and even those who are wanting to be part of ABS are still, nakakabigay din ng encouragement eh. Kasi malakas din naman yung suportang natatanggap namin sa labas.
Right. I don't want to say you were surprised, but parang medyo may konting surprise when you announced it. I don't remember which month you announced yung lineup nga ng upcoming ABS-CBN shows, but like ano yung process no na parang like I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of uncertainty, diba? Like walang prangkisa, what's gonna happen? And then suddenly we have announcements from ABS-CBN that these are the shows to look forward to. These are the movies that you can look forward to in the coming months. So parang paano yun? Paano yung like literally behind the scenes, was it like pinatawag na kayo ng meeting, okay, let's go, we're gonna continue working, we'll be producing this, lalabas pa rin to despite the franchise?
Alam mo, di ba sa show business, sabi naman talaga nila, the show must go on, whatever happens. Besides, kahit anong nangyayari, hindi lang yan, kahit sa mga artista, sa mga individual, kaya namatayan ka, tuloy ang paggawa ng because, it's part of the service that you will provide your audience. So sa amin, panandalian, syempre, medyo, that mayhem of ano mangyayari o wala na tayo ngayon, magtatanggalan ba, mawawalan ba magpe-pay cut ba, ilang programa may iwan, lahat yun. It was very uncertain at the yung from actually May pa lang nung nawala na kami ng ng NTC na na kami noon. Medyo ang bigat ng pakiramdam na yun but then again, ang nawala lang naman ang free to air namin na na platform, di ba? So we realized at we just had to find ways saan ba kami pwedeng makita. So cable, we still had cable, and then digital is a strong platform, and then all the other available OTT and every possible platform that we can reach out to our audience, kailangan namin gamitin. Yun talaga yung biglang all of a sudden TV broadcast is not our main platform already, so we just have to find other ways. Ganun lang naman talaga. Actually, pag doon nga lumalabas yata ang galing at tapang at pag naiipit ang isang tao. Sa kasong to yung buong kumpanya, nasubok talaga kami. Sinubok talaga kami. So ano ba kami? Titiklop pa kami? Tatayo ba kami? Will we move forward? So yun yung individually tumatakbo sa utak namin and our bosses, the entire management. Siyempre, hindi naman kami dadapa. Gagawa kami ng paraan kasi hindi pa naman tapos ang laban, di ba? Hindi naman, franchise lang naman yung nawala Hindi naman titigil ang ABS-CBN. It's still a company and we're still a content creator. So, tuloy ang laban.
Speaking of content creating, sir, hindi na lang yun yung task mo ngayon. As I mentioned earlier, you also now head Star Magic. How is there a balancing act? Can you even balance the two jobs, or is it constantly dalawang these two tasks that you must?
Of course, consequence ng pagkawala ng prangkisa, yung pag-streamline namin ng organization, and part of that streamlining is a lot of us will be taking on multiple roles. So, syempre, I was offered to head Star Magic. Hindi naman totally new ang Star Magic sa akin. Hindi naman totally new ang dealing with artists because aside from my being head of Entertainment. Dati naman akong director, dati naman akong producer, dati naman akong business unit head for reality programs. So madami na akong experience din naman sa pag-select, pag-audition, and then, but managing artists is new to me. So yun
Right.
naman yung challenge sa akin. May balancing act. Isa yun sa mga tanong dati, paano ko gagawin na am I more a head of entertainment or am I a manager now? Actually, ngayon ko na-realize, pwede siyang i-synergize and it will be
Mm-hmm.
more efficient and more effective kasi discovery really comes from a lot of the programs. So that's
Right.
already part and parcel of the DNA of a lot of our reality shows na you discover talents.
Yeah.
So in also building their careers, it's also in creating new content for them. So nababantayan ko rin yun. Mas na-realize ko nga ngayon na in casting, mas naalalayan ko na, we give opportunities to do a lot of Star Magic artists who stayed with the company. So sila yung naalagaan. And then also, since somehow weakened ang platforms ng ABS-CBN because major naman talaga we cannot deny that
Of
radio and
course.
TV are still the mass-based platforms to reach majority. We need to reach out to third party.
Right.
There's partnerships that we need to establish outside of ABS-CBN. So we're more aggressive now in seeking partnerships, in marketing our artists, not only for ABS-CBN programs, but even programs for different networks and different producers. So yun. So yun yung mga naglalakas loob din ng mga producers sa labas na gumagawa ng programa, natutuwa rin kami that they also seek out Star Magic artists. So we're still able to deploy and give a livelihood to a lot of artists, not necessarily just in ABS-CBN.
Right. I was gonna ask this later on, but since you already mentioned it, so I'm not sure. It's premiering by the end of the month, correct? The show that I will be talking about. So there's a show. Okay, this might be very confusing for some people who are still not used to the idea. Kasi in the Philippines, kasi diba, it's before very distinct. This is ABS-CBN, this is GMA, this is TV5. So you might be confused by this. So there's a show that ABS-CBN is line producing alongside Bright Light Productions, and it'll air on TV5. It features ABS-CBN stars. Was that a difficult thing to conjure up? Yung just the idea na parang, an ABS-CBN star appearing on TV5. Or was it already easy na parang, bakit pa ba tayo mawiwindang sa idea of, this situation?
May laging disorientation naman pagbago. Diba? Parang bigla kang pumasok sa kwarto, saan ba pintuan nito, paano ba palabas? It's always laging may ganung sense na parang hindi kami sanay sa ganun. Kasi yung move lang namin to A to Z was already different because it's a
Right.
time arrangement. Hindi namin pag-aari yung bahay. We cannot just do whatever we used to do. We cannot just come out with our station IDs because it's not our station. We were block timers. We were just having programs at certain time slots. So yun palang iba na yun eh. Nagpapa-approve kami ng programa sa iba pang management. So that's different. Now with Channel 5, I think in the beginning, they felt there was some exodus of a lot of artists to Channel 5. But the truth is, a lot of the artists there, through Star Magic, were given permission because
Right.
we were honest na we could not provide livelihood to a lot. Kasi from drama pa lang dati Bayan drama namin, we had 7 drama shows a day.
Right.
And we
Exactly.
were down to 4.
Right.
We're down to 4 now. So sa tatlong yun, times how many months, ang dami talagang nawala ng trabaho yun. So we cannot be selfish and we cannot deprive people of work. And those also who were retrenched was also a source of, there's another human resource that we can tap for creating content. Kasi yung mga naiwan sa ABS, enough to produce a content for ABS-CBN, A to Z, and Cap Channel. Pero yung mga iba naming partnership, katulad nga nitong Love on the Move, which is line produced by Star Cinema, ABS-CBN Films, under Olive Lamasan, but employing some retrenched people and some TV personnel, they're able to come up with this with bright light. So that was an arrangement, a line production, konsepto namin, artista namin, and we line produce it, but funding from Bright Light.
Right.
So it will be aired in Channel 5
Right.
in February. It was moved to
Oh,
February.
Feb. Okay, sorry.
First
Yes.
week of February. So, yun yung naging arrangement doon. Yung iba namang programa ng Bright Light, napahiram namin yung iba namin mga artista sa kanila. So, they still have exposure even at during these times na very limited ang audience natin. Nakikita pa rin sila sa ibang
Right.
platform.
Right. And then ultimately, I think people tend to, sometimes they forget this, that at the end of the day, these are livelihoods. This isn't just, parang, parang, I think a lot of people kasi are just stuck also with the mindset na parang ABS-CBN lang talaga. Parang, but even ABS-CBN is adjusting and looking for opportunities
It was
for jobs.
it was an emotional situation, diba? It was a time where people were questioning, are you loyal?
Yeah.
Stick it out? Bakit ka alis? Hirap yung kumpanya. Madaling sabihin yan, but iba-iba tayong circumstances sa buhay. Iba-ibang needs natin. May mga tao na hindi magsusurvive. I mean, we know their hearts. We've spoken to a lot of them. We know what's in their hearts. We know that they're loyal to the company, but they also need to feed their families. So,
Of course.
paano naman natin pagkakait yung ganun, di ba? Kung meron namang pagkakataon, which is not also naman forever, I know naman itong mga ganung bagay, it's also cyclical. So, ang hirap natin pagkaitan ng mga tao ng kabuhay. Kasi ang hirap no, last year was really very difficult for everyone. Diba? So, lahat tayo nangapa at natakot. Hanggang ngayon, natakot pa tayo. How will life be this year, diba? So kailangan magtulungan lang. I think what's isang industriya, it might be good na during tough times, sa panahon ito na pandemic na wala naman natin, it is beyond competition. It's beyond network wars. Parang wala na ngayon. Ako nga, hindi ko na iniisip yun. Iniisip yun kasi yung ratings nga, nakahinga ako. Actually, yun yung medyo magandang hinga ko. Hindi na ako before. We were looking at ratings. We were it was difficult to be number one because it was a tough place to sustain your position. And then, nawala yun. So, of course, ang impact din naman sa revenue namin nun malaki.
Of course.
Pero, masarap din makabakasyon doon. Siguro yun yung mga bakasyon ko. Yung hindi ko na lang titingnan yung ratings sa araw-araw. Diba? Tanggap ko na And then we enjoy small victories. Yung nagsimula kami, ang baba ng viewership. Tapos tumataas siya. Of course, malayo siya sa pinanggalingan namin. But, diba? Ganun talaga buhay. Magsimula ka ulit. Masaya pa naman magsimula rin naman.
Right. But sir, I mean, you might downplay this, but obviously ABS-CBN's entertainment's presence on social media and news also, but we're talking about entertainment here. I mean, you still manage, I guess that was the next mission, right? To dominate naman social media, the internet landscape, kasi that's I guess that was the new frontier to conquer.
Dati kasi hindi namin masyado pinapansin nun. Hanggang ngayon naman kasi, yung bulk of revenue really comes from advertising on free TV. Diba? Yung digital to us before was just incremental. At saka, lang yan, parang added, lang yan sa amin. Pero ngayon, yun na yung nagiging major source. And we realize it's highly potential. There's a lot of possibilities. Where we're one of the highest subscribed content creator in Asia. So we're ranked in the top 5, and with more than 30 million views and billions of 30 million subscribers and billions of views. Parang na-realize mo, di ba? Uy, teka, hindi to pwedeng ismulin, hindi to pwedeng there's much potential in this. And dahil naka-lockdown, lahat naman forced to stay home, work from home, even our artists. So talagang ang takbuhan mo social media. Kasi natakot din naman tayo dun sa, even with the protocols of taping, ang lakas lang ng loob din namin nun, Bea. We were
Yeah.
also, uh, we were the first, I think we were the one of the first producers na sumabak talaga sa taping. Nung
Ang
nag-ease down
Provinciano Sir,
talaga,
di ba, was one of the first shows to resume or to experiment with the lockdown taping.
Love Thy Woman and then Soldier's Heart.
Oh, ayaw nga.
Tinuloy namin lahat yon. Tinuloy namin yung mga programa namin. May mga ilan lang na programa hindi namin matuloy because of consideration of artists na ayaw pang lumabas, ayaw pang natatakot pag ano. It was really high risk at the time. But
Yes.
so tumaas din ang cost namin dahil doon, Bea, dahil yung protocol measures lang, yung pag-lock-in, yung swabbing,
Right.
yung lahat ng ano, hirap din ang pinagdaan, but it was good that we went through it kasi bilis yung learning curve namin. Ang bilis
Yes.
namin mag-adapt. Kasi nga, ang nakakatuwa rin yan, we can't, I don't think we'll ever get back to the old ways. You know,
Right.
the new, it's really going to be a new normal. So, isang nadulot din yan, all our scripts are now advanced. Before, talaga may time to mount.
Tama.
Oo, ngayon, forced kami. Before we go out, advance ang scripts namin. For the longest time, ngayon lang kami nakakaroon ng weeks and weeks of advanced materials. And then, nakakapag-edit kami, na-upload namin ng maaga. So, may planning. At nagagawa namin ng 12-hour work shift ngayon na hindi namin nagagawa
That's right.
before. Ngayon kaya na namin mag-ano. Dati talaga parang, wow, imposible yan, 12 hours per day. Talagang ano lang, political will to do it.
Yeah.
Forced eh. Kasi every day,
Yeah.
you cannot work more than 12 hours on a daily basis kasi bababa ang immune system ng lahat ng tao. So,
Right.
So, happy kami. I don't think we'll ever go back to
Right.
going beyond 12 hours. Of course, there's some considerations. Pag umuulan, bumabagyo, there's a few extension. But the rule is 12 hours na talaga nagtatrabaho yung at least for production, for ABS-CBN production.
But that's good. At least these necessary changes are forced and wala nang choice but to accept them kasi kailangan lang.
Disruptive talaga yung nangyari sa atin. It was it's a situation wherein we're forced to cope, to adapt, and to find new ways. And yun, happy. Ako personally, I'm very happy as head of production na nangyayari itong mga bagay na to. So,
Sir, I'm gonna shift from, talking about talent management and production. Speaking of social media naman, I mentioned this off air na parang, I think ngayon, especially now, like we are at a height where, we have a lot of stars who are discovered through social media and they actually even build their platforms through social media. So given that situation, no, parang anong direksyon pupunta yung Star Magic at anong place niya in that ecosystem na parang, kasi di ba sir dati, parang you had to be discovered by a network or a management arm or there was only like a limited path siguro to stardom and celebrity, but now, like if you're good enough or if you have enough talent or sometimes just being you can be a celebrity and a star in yourself. So like where does a Star Magic play into that?
Totoo yan, democratized na ngayon entertainment.
Yes.
With YouTube and with a lot of other platforms, with technology, anybody can really entertain, anybody can find a platform, anybody can influence other people. Except that ang paniniwala ko, iba yung requirement for every platform. The same way na iba ang theater actors, iba ang cinema actors, iba ang TV actors. Nadagdagan lang yan ng social media, ng influencers. So iba pa rin yung discipline. Hindi lahat ng nasa social media makakatawid sa mainstream. At hindi lahat ng nasa mainstream makakatawid ng social media because there are certain personalities and type of character that will be able to sustain the kind of entertainment that we look for in social media. So it's just an added platform. So Star Magic, we'll just have to consider that there will be artists and who will be coming from social media, and the platform will still be social media. Some
Right.
of them can be given platforms which will expand their sphere of influence to include mainstream. In both ways din, yung nasa mainstream, pwede rin tumawid doon. So, nasa amin ngayon sa Star Magic and how to train our actors, our artists na mabalanse. Kasi ngayon, we have to recognize importante sa isang talent na may presence ka on digital and social media.
Yes, for
Uh,
sure.
but mas madali yan sa mga bata. Mas yung mga aware na talaga dyan. But those who grew up and are, ang prime ano nila ay free TV and cinema, hindi rin sila, kasi hirap i-sustain ng ako I do vlogs once in a while, realize ko, hindi siya madali. Hindi
Right.
mo ginagawa nila Alex, nila yung
True.
lahat ng mga major influencers and celebrities on social media, hindi madali. Talagang buhay nila yan because it's like 24/7 as well. They produce, they have control on their content. Siyempre, they have 100% control of their content. Pag pumunta sila sa mainstream, naiiba yun.
Yeah.
Siyempre, mas mataas ang risk, mas mataas ang cost, mas mataas ang expense
Right.
pag gumawa ka ng content for mainstream. So, iba rin yung rules of engagement pag tumawid ka sa iba pang platform. So, Star Magic will just have to be a player in all these platforms, from mainstream to digital, to social media, to OTT, to all whatever pang lalabas dyan. Kasi events is down now, but we're discovering we can create events on digital.
Right.
We've been doing concert and streaming it on KTX and
Yes.
other streaming platforms. So naiba lang ng konti. I think nagka-struggle sa cinema, nagka-struggle pa sila yung MFF. Siyempre,
Yes.
iba pa rin yung habit of people going to the movie houses on Christmas Day, di ba?
Yeah.
Hindi pa naninibago pa mga Pilipino na nanonood ng
Yeah.
festival on a streaming platform. So may mga ganung adjustments. So, but we will survive it. People will
Yeah.
cope. We're
Yeah.
So yung tinagot ko ba yung tanong?
Yeah. No, thanks for pointing that out because I feel like not a lot of people parang realize na porket sikat ka sa social, it doesn't mean that you can translate on TV or movies. Not because of elitism, pero may skill sets kasi na minsan kinakaya, minsan kayang mag-crossover, minsan hindi. So,
Kasimple lang yan ang hindi lahat ng reality stars or coming from PBB or other reality shows
tama.
are good artists. Kasi
Right.
iba yung skill sets. Totoo, sinasabi, iba yung mag-memorize ka ng script. Iba yung spontaneously, nagkikwento ka lang, nagsasabi ka lang kung ano gusto mong sabihin. Iba yun. Iba yung pag may mga kami, may mga, I'll just take PBB as an example. Pag binigyan na namin ng script yung iba naming mga housemates, paglabas nila ng PBB, to do a teleserye or a sitcom or what have you, flat. They fall flat.
Right.
Parang hindi natural and alam ng tao.
Right. Right. And that's not necessarily their fault. It just ganun lang talaga sila. Like hindi lang talaga part ng skill siguro nila yung scripted programming. And not a lot of people understand that, I think. I think people just assume clout, kasikatan will translate no matter whichever platform you put them in.
May rules, 'di ba? May mga subtle yan, may mga differences, major differences actually per platform. So
right. Speaking, sir, of PBB Connect. Okay, now I think I was also a little surprised when I first heard the announcement. It was pushing through because, of course, I mean it's. I wouldn't say it's ABS. Would it be ABS-CBN's one of its flagship programs?
Well,
would you consider it a flagship?
It's one of our enduring programs.
Right. I mean,
15 years, so okay naman siya.
Yeah, and then if you think about it, a lot of like me, for example, I grew up. Okay, ang sama naman pakinggan na I grew up watching PBB, no? Parang pinalaki ako ng PBB. Hindi naman. Pero bata pa lang ako. I mean, I watched the premiere season of PBB. But
how old were you then? So makalasa elementary
pa. Sa elementary pa ata ako, sir, nung unang lumabas. Oh, tama. Actually, I think I was in elementary when PBB first premiered in the Philippines.
It's one whole generation, actually.
Diba? So parang I think, so yun, parang in conceptualizing and even giving the green light for PBB Connect, ano yung mga things that you considered? Kasi again, you have the factor na bawal nang pumila sa labas ng sa labas for auditions. Syempre you tapped Kumu for that. So how did that come together?
Um, it was unplanned. This year, we
Okay.
really didn't think of coming up with PBB because the old ways really entailed massive audition
Of
on
course.
ground and going outside the country just to look for housemates. And ako kasi,
Tama.
I
Oo nga
really
pala.
like go. I really like meeting people. Yung talaga nakikita ko, three-dimensional yung nag-audition. Yung mula ulo hanggang paa, hanggang yung pagpasok sa pila, paano sila
Yeah.
maglakad, paano umano, hanggang sa umexit. Minsan hinahabol ko ng tingin kasi merong galaw na nakita in front of me, and then I'll say, pabalikin nyo nga yun kasi parang may ginawa siyang kakaiba na not necessarily happened when when that person is in front of me. So hindi namin inisip na posible talagang magka-PBB this year, and then Kumu came to us. The
Right.
truth is it was Kumu's idea to bring back PBB this year using Kumu as a major platform. So that was the start of it. So we thought, okay, let's do digital auditions using Kumu, and everybody will have to send an audition tape.
Mm.
Medyo nahilo kami sa dami ng audition tape, audition videos. 1 minute turn na around 170,000. So I had to form a team who would just
Oh God.
preview all the
Oh
the
my goodness.
videos. So you just imagine like per person siguro hundreds of videos per day just
Oh
to finish a
gosh.
2 week run to trim them down to a short list of around 200, then down
Oh
to
God.
how we selected. It was new to us doing auditions virtually. We did actually we had samplers in the past few auditions na our final casting. Normally kasi final casting namin we ask everybody to come to the studio to have a meetup with the panel, with the management, and they, face to face, we interview them and we talk to them. There were times in the past that we couldn't fly in people from abroad, so they were also spoken through via the.
Mm.
So may mangilan-ngilan na ganun. Ang nangyari this year, lahat ganun. Lahat ganun. So the first time I saw them in person was after the final casting when we asked
Mm.
everybody to come over, do hotel quarantine, do the swab, hotel quarantine the day before the kickoff, which is the launch of the show. I do the hotel visits, talk to them, just see how they are. That was the very first time I saw them. So doon ko lang nakita, so you're so petite pala. Because you don't see that naman on video, how tall, how small.
Right, right,
You
right.
don't see that. So
Hindi ba unnerving yun for you, sir? Considering na, this has PBB, I'm not sure if this is accurate for others, but like for me, when I think of PBB, I think of you. Like it's this program that, of course, I think ABS-CBN, but I also think of you. It's kumbaga, it's yung magkakabit yung branding ng dalawang your name and the show. Like how did it feel that clearly you didn't have a choice, but na parang a day before mo lang pala sila nakita talaga face to face.
okay, sa dami na nangyari last year from the franchise na nawala and from the pandemic. Ano ba ikakatakot ko? What's the worst thing that could happen? Not seeing them. Parang wala wala na yun. During that time, parang I'm just so happy that we were able to do it. Whoever, kumbaga, providential na lang yun. Kung sino talaga yung nasa final casting namin, talagang part of it was our choice. Some of them nag-back out pa, some of them di pumasa sa PCR. We're not totally in control. So,
Yeah.
alam na kung ano doon, ini-enjoy ko na lang yung ano noon. Okay, so sabi ko, kung kapalaran mo na talaga makapasok sa 170,000, and then we're able to
Yeah.
see potential in these people. So parang I was so happy that it even happened at a
Yeah.
at a time na sobrang difficult, and we thought it would be
Right.
impossible, and it still happened. What a blessing! What a
Right.
blessing!
Sir, syempre, you didn't have the advantage of, well, you didn't have the advantage of the usual process, diba? Like seeing them in the flesh. Kasi minsan din people emit this vibe na parang, I guess, you also feel that, na parang, you're right for, I mean, like, it might not it might not make sense to some people, but it makes sense to you when you meet them in person. So how did you go about picking the cast of this season of PPP?
Um, I was my voice was very critical in the shortlisting of the candidates. So we had around 100. Parang I was one of the few decision makers in choosing the ones who will present to management.
Mm-hmm.
So um, wala. Before kasi people will always ask me, ano bang hinahanap mo? What are your criteria? Ano bang ano mo? I always say there's no clear criteria. I base it on gut. There's some people really who will interest me. Some people I feel that they would work well for the program. But that was stronger when I see them in person,
Right.
and I had multiple times, multiple occasions that I'd see them kasi from the start, because auditions before would really take the whole day, and late at night or even early in the morning I'd have my auditions. I'd meet around 12,000. The
Oh my
most that I've met is around 12,000 in one day.
oh my
Talagang
god.
hindi ko alam paano ko ginawa yun, di ba? And magsa-stand out yung mga tao. Before, complaint nga nila, hindi naman ako pinagsalita, hindi ako pinaganito. Paano napili ni Direk Loren yun? Oh, I had a lot of, kung uso yung beginning of PBB, kung uso ang social media, nako, ang dami kong bashers, ang dami kong siguro death threats noon, because it was a difficult process,
Yeah.
and because of logistics, I couldn't afford to give each and every auditionee just enough time to
Right.
delve into the reasons why they want to go, their life story. Pero somehow na train ako na may lukso, may
Yeah.
nalalaman ko na, uy, interesado tong taong to, pabalikin mo yan sa next level. I'm able to pinpoint. And then, nag-evolve na yung proseso namin. We made it a whole experience even for those auditionees na nung binuo namin yung Star Hunt experience, that it became fun for them, that when
Right.
everybody in Araneta would become friends, there's a whole
Right.
activity, there'll be multiple events. So na ano naman namin na we were able to institutionalize a different way of auditioning. So that was fun for me. For this time, talagang I think nag-work lang din sa akin. I just had to rely on initial gut pa rin. Gut pa rin yung ano, when I preview, we had sa Kumu on parang 1 week. I was with the host, with Robbie and Bianca, and we would preview videos, audition videos, and I would say, parang pwede yan i-shortlist at give a star. So that's ano. So that was our
Right.
ano, we're giving you a star. So it was still gut feel with always ano, and was minsan alam na rin nung staff ko kung ano,
Sino?
meron namang ano, meron na yung alam mong reality star, yung bagay sa isang reality show. Sa tagal
Right.
na naman na ginagawa yan. Alam naman natin kung sino interesting para panoorin. But then again, ang mahirap kasi niyan, yung mixing the different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi you may be a good individual, but will you be good with other people?
Right.
Diba? So it's the casting of PBB is really a group casting. It
Right.
has to be they have to give a certain energy. Of course,
Right.
we couldn't totally predict what will happen.
Right.
Yung they'll always say, "Oh, everything's scripted naman, ganyan ganyan." We wouldn't know who would fall in love or ano. Bakit sabi na lagi na lang may love story diyan. Kayo kaya ikulong sa bahay na kayo lang ang nagkikita. These are normal people. These are young people. They get
Right.
attracted to people. So hindi mo mapipigilan. That's a normal human behavior that you get attracted to people you see almost every day. Sa eskwelahan
Yeah.
naman, nangyari yun.
I was gonna say, para nakalimutan ng mga tao yung high school, college experience na
Oh.
proximity. But sir, I have to ask, like you've had well, you always have controversial picks, but I think this year na amplify perhaps also because of social media. Like, were those controversial picks? There were several of them. I don't
Ano,
think we need to name them, but
may mga political, ano, political.
political, yes.
Ah,
Among those, were those conscious choices, or was it more like we don't really care about that? We care about something else about them.
Siyempre, we're an entertainment show, di ba? Ang
Yeah,
priority talaga namin noon is a personality. We don't naman
yeah,
ask, at the time naman, hindi naman namin talaga tinatanong, ano ba political leaning mo? Kanino ka ba
yeah,
naniniwala? Hindi naman namin tinatanong yun. Although, we'll check on their, we'll check on their social media accounts because that's the standard naman. Because
of course.
we want to know if may scandal tong taong to, may ganito, anything incriminating, may record pala yan. These are the things, background check on ano.
Yeah,
So, I didn't, we didn't know about Russo and about saying those things
yeah,
inside the house. We really didn't know.
yeah,
Uh, nung napili na namin si Justin, doon lang namin nalaman. Sabi niya, ano yan, very vocal siya na ganyan. But those were not our prime, that wasn't part of our criteria to really choose based on your, kasi hindi siya importante. Although, siyempre, undeniably, marami nasasaktan kasi nga highly emotionally charged kasi yung sitwasyon eh. Di ba,
yeah,
polarized talaga tayo.
yeah,
And malungkot na ABS was also nasa gitna kami nung
yeah,
nangyayari to. But
yeah,
to be fair with everybody naman, hindi po namin siya, i- hindi namin, it was not a conscious decision kasi may iba nagsasabi, nilagay talaga yan, or pinagsama talaga itong dalawa. Hindi po yun hindi po namin, wala po kaming ganong plano. We were too busy because this is also the season na pinakamaikli audition process namin.
yeah,
Probably in a month. Normally, 3 to 4 months ang audition namin eh. Ngayon, halos isang buwan lang para makapagpili kami. But as you said, PBB thrives on controversy. So, unintentionally, nangyayari siya eh. Kasi
yes,
totoong tao eh. Totoong tao.
right,
Di talaga planado yung ibang mga bagay. We have triggers, we have
of course.
activities, we know them, we interview them, but we couldn't predict how each one will behave in a situation na pressure cooker na locked in a house. Diba? Na kayo-kayo lang, hindi mo
Right.
kilala. Sanay tayo ngayon na we have a taste of we're locked in, but we're around people we know
Yeah,
and families. Ito, hindi mo kailan strangers put together in one house for
and we're not being
24/7.
watched by people who don't really
Exactly.
know who we are through and
Tsaka
through.
magnified naman talaga. Konting galaw lang ng mukha mo, mata mo, kilay mo, close up, na freeze, na ganyan. People put meaning into it. Eh. Madatay ka lang sa may meaning na, di ba? Especially those who'd really look for
Yeah,
intriga yun, talaga.
yeah,
Mamatyagaan nila lahat ng galaw.
yeah. Tsaka
Because
siguro, sir, it speaks to the continuing cultural impact of ABS-CBN, on top of the fact na people see it as a starting point to jumpstart a potential entertainment career, di ba?
kahit wala kaming franchise,
Which leads me to my next question. I know that you already announced some of the series, some of the movies that people will look forward to. But what other things can they look forward to in 2021, even 2022? Nag-usap na kami before ni Sir, hindi siya pwede mag-disclose, syempre, ng mga, hindi ba pwede i-announce na mga developments. But yeah, what shows and movies
Unang-una, sa
are we looking
industriya talaga, the industry is kind of moving and shifting, no? So ang daming galawan. So ang daming mga kwento na move from Channel 2 to Channel 7 to GMA to ABS. It's actually heartening to know that we're still considered a major player,
Right.
considering na kahit diminished na yung yung reach namin for the time being. A lot of
Right.
people are saying makakabalik din kami sa yan. So pag isa ka sa dumaan sa proseso niyon, you'd like to be hopeful, but at the same time you're more pragmatic. Diba?
Right.
About that you don't want to jump into it and say, oh, babalik kami dyan, kaya namin lahat yan. So ngayon, it's really looking for other opportunities. I'm
Right.
excited with the prospect of going beyond the Philippine territory as a
Mm-hmm.
playing field, both for Star Magic and for ABS-CBN. Would like to be a major player regionally and globally. Uh, we've started that with some of the idol groups that we're forming. We're launching two idol groups that hopefully can give a feel of the talent and excellence of young Filipino artists who can perform, sing, and dance well compared to all the K-pop groups and all the other groups. So isa yun. We'd like to venture into international productions as well. We'd like to partner with Netflix, iFlix, View, and a lot of those OTT platforms, and produce. With last year, we started a partnership with Dean Devlin. We produced, we co-produced. Initially, we line produced, and then we eventually became a co-producer for Almost Paradise, which was shot entirely in Cebu. So that was
Mm-hmm.
our first taste of North American production and working with us. So dami rin namin natutunan sa ganon. So hopefully matuloy yung plano na mag-second season. Um, Kaya lang siyempre with all the restrictions in travel and what have you need to calibrate these things. Dami nakakamiss ng mga dami namin ginagawa before, yung ball, yung
Yeah.
ABS-CBN ball, Star
Yes.
Magic ball, yung Star Magic Sports Fest.
Yes.
We don't know if that will happen this year, but
Right.
definitely it's part of our tradition. We'd like to be able to do these things once it's allowable, once it's possible, feasible financially and logistically, and with permission from the government.
Right.
Um, ano pa ba? Cinema is really challenged, but we shift already. Like Star Cinema is doing digital content. Star Magic will likewise get into content creation. We're just not building um, artists. We're also creating content for our artists.
Right.
So a lot of things can still happen. Still be and part of the lives of Filipinos, and hopefully a bigger audience. That's a mga non-Filipino audience. So maraming it's an exciting time to be in
Right.
entertainment as well. It's very challenging, pero ito yung mga panahon talaga na wow, pag 2 3 years from now when we look back, would say
Right.
those were struggling years. Ang sarap din isipin yung galing ka dun sa pinakamataas tapos biglang, humbling experience, biglang, nasa baba ka, start over. Minsan iniisip ko rin, tanda ko na for this, di ba? Tagal na, 20 years na ako, 32 years na ako sa industriya, di ba? Kaya ko pa ba to? Pero pag inisip mo na, as we'd always say, may sound trite na to some people na, we're really doing this in service to the Filipino. Not only because we would like to entertain, because we feel kailangan ng mga Pilipino rin na may tinitingala, may
Right.
iniidolo, may napapanood na pupulutan nila ng aral, ng lahat ng bagay. So malaking parte ng buhay ng Pilipino, not only entertainment, but news. Kayo
Right.
sa Rappler, na-realize natin during calamity, di ba, na
Yeah.
hirap pala nung walang nakakaabot sa marami nating mga kababayan sa mga liblib-liblib na lugar ng mga balita. So, sana lang magawa na paraan na in the future, di ba, maabot pa natin yung mga kababayan natin sa mga ibang lugar. But then again, as I'd say, there's a bigger world, there's a bigger audience that we can tap right now. So we'd like that to not only for ABS-CBN, but to celebrate and to rin naman, to give honor and showcase the Filipino talent globally. And so that's one big objective of Star Magic and ABS-CBN for 2021 and beyond, the new decade. This is a good year talaga to start new things. It's a good time also to launch new artists,
Right.
new faces, new
Right.
sound, something different. Kasi
Right.
ano daming mabigat yung nangyari last year. I think people are really looking forward to something new. So
Right.
artists will have to reinvent themselves as well. They have to do other things. Our storytelling will have to match uh, mga Korean style at mga American series and all those, even European series that we get to see on Netflix because sa lockdown tayo. Our audience been exposed to all these things. So, nako-compare na rin tayo. So, we really have to cope with that. It's just very challenging na, siyempre, wala tayong masyadong pera sa mga panahon na to. So,
Mm.
pero, magagawan paraan to not be forever. God willing, we'll be able to do greater things.
I was gonna segue sir to my last question, but I have to ask about the P-pop. People call it P-pop. I don't know if
Keep
that's
up,
something
right?
that everyone embraces. Pero ano yung like how did that even come together? Because I think nagulat yung iba kasi I think it was only a small it was more of the younger people who were following Beanie's growth kunwari. I don't know how to pronounce their names as for
Bean,
now they're called
Bean,
SHA, the boys.
the boys. But we were relaunching them at the end of the year with a new name already. So
So
they'll
they'll have an
be
actual proper name. So I think it was the younger people, it was the true Gen Zs na nakasubaybay sa growth nila. Kasi it wasn't a secret naman na you were training them. But like I think for us older millennials, nagulat na lang kami na sa ASA. Parang, oh my God, where did these girls come from? Where did these boys come from? They're so good. So parang paano nangyari yun?
okay. So 2 years ago, it started 2020. Ako naman kasi, dati ko mahilig talaga akong nakakita ng mga grupong sumasayaw o kumakanta. Siguro dahil sa generation ko rin naman, there were really may mga ganyang grupo na ng ano. But yung, and I had attempts already to form groups from hashtags in Showtime
Yes.
to Girl Trends. So
Yes.
meron namang mga attempts na yan. It was sort of a way for me to get into how it is to form groups. Pero yung objective kasi nung hashtag at saka Girl Trends was really eventually for them to be artistas. We just
Yes.
wanted to give them a platform where people can see them as a group, sing and dance,
Yes.
and then ano. But for the Star Hunt Academy, it was part of our plan how to go international, and then the idol industry, which is very popular because of the K-pop, talagang nag-boom siya. So we wanted to get into that as well. So in 2018, we started the search and the training, and the latter part of 2018, we formed a group. Malaki pa nun eh. Then we trimmed them down in 2019 into initially 11 girls and then 7 boys. But along the way, part of the training and getting yung personality kasi yung nagbe-blend ba yung personality nila, yung character ba nila, nakakatagal ba sila sa training, yung motivation ba nila is enough. So eventually, we ended up with 8 girls. We called Beanie from Beanie Beanie. And then the Shah boy trainees and Star Hunt Academy boy trainees. It became
Yes.
Star Hunt Academy rookies right now.
Uh-huh.
But by the end of the month, they will be launched process of shooting their debut MVs, music video, and preparing for their launch. Very exciting, Beas. Very exciting way. Iba naman. And natutuwa ako na we elevated the sense of performance of
Right.
in ASAP. When even the artists, I hear them, wow, ang galing, gusto ko rin gawin na yan, that we will practice and rehearse and because it takes months to learn
Right.
just one number, to dance in sync with with
Right.
each member. I think it's possible because they live together. Alam nila
Yes.
yung hinga ng bawat isa, yung galaw ng bawat isa. Parang nagiging automatic, yung muscle memory yata. Nagiging in sync sila. So yun yung major ingredient why the Beanie and the other group, I suppose the K-pop idols, kaya sila in sync because they train together for years and it's a lot of investment. Sobrang laking investment. For a time there, we thought we need to cut it and not proceed with it. But management said, ABS-CBN management said, no, we've invested already. We started the kids have dedicated much of their lives. Hindi sila nagbubuhat ng ano. I'm very proud of itong mga kabataan to kasi they gave up a lot, to do this and to practice day in, day out. Talagang sobra yung training nila. And they're 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 just in their teens,
I know.
around 19.
That's the shocking and siguro horrifying aspect for older millennials because they're so young, but they're already. I mean, like hinog, kung baga, parang you see the grit and the discipline in whenever they perform.
Yun ang masarap doon. Iyan talaga, yung grit na sinasabi mo, nakita ko sa kanila yan. And yung when I saw them perform, binigay nila lahat. Parang, wow, sulit yung hirap at yung ano. And you can only say na, hindi pwedeng hindi mo suportahan itong mga batang to sa pinagdadaanan nila. And you could just imagine, 2-3 years from now, how they will be, how good they will perform, and they will all make us proud. Every Filipino to see them on world stage and performing alongside global artists. We will all be so proud kasi na-test na namin yung yung pagkatao nila, na-test na namin yung dedikasyon nila, yung nila. Hindi madali yung ginagawa nila, but pinaninindigan nila, and they really have the talent. And so I'm so proud, and I know this is just the start of how we're going to train artists as well. The discipline. Hindi na to katulad dati na nanalo ka lang ng isang contest, sumikat ka lang sa isang reality contest, pwede ka na mag-artista. Iba pinagdaanan ng mga batang to. Ito talagang dugot, pawis. Talagang more than a year, almost 2 years of training before being given an opportunity to perform on ASAP. So, but with the feedback we're getting from other artists, nakakataba rin ng puso for them. So, wow.
I mean, as a K-pop stan, I am very. I was. I mean, like not to say not to say na sila lang yung magagaling na artists na trained under that concept of the K-pop idol discipline, but like it was still very impressive to see them perform with so much confidence. I think that was one thing na parang, alam mo yun, for very, very young people to perform on the ASAP stage with that much confidence, it was a little shocking or a little, and very exciting, definitely, for someone who's also...
Well, thank you for seeing that. Thank you.
Pero sir, so ito, we've discussed na, again, yun nga, the groups that you've trained and will be debuting formally in a few days, end of the month.
Only boys, and then the girls will be they will have their official debut in latter part of February. Palilipasi ko na yung Valentine's.
So very, very near na. We discussed the future of ABS-CBN, obviously, or the plans for ABS-CBN Entertainment, international, regional. How about Philippine entertainment in general? Like, where are we heading? Given ito nga, parang, obviously, you can't discount the fact na the biggest player in television is no longer on free TV, or does not have the same reach as it had on free TV prior to the network franchise denial. And then you have, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. So, saan yung papunta ngayon yung Philippine entertainment?
Walang choice. Wala tayong choice. We need to adapt. We need to adapt fast and quick with technology, with a changing landscape, with a changing demand. So, Pilipino naman, madali naman tayo bumangon, madali tayong mag-adjust. Bilis nga natin di ba nauso lang yung BL? I think it was also a byword this year. That BL parang bigla nagsuputan. Ang daming hinihinging artista, willing ba kayo mag-BL, maganyan. So sabi ko, there's a new genre that was also formed. And nag-adapt quickly ang Philippine entertainment. The film fest lang. There's an entry. Boy for Todo already was one player. If you go YouTube, ang daming a lot of Star Magic artists have been requested to be part of a Regal production, that's BL. Star Cinema had its own BL. So, mabilis naman tayo mag-adjust. Yung idol industry, nag-adjust din tayo. For teleserye, we need to compete with those being shown on Netflix. So, where are we headed? We need to act fast. We need to really look uh, beyond what we used to do and how we used to do things. Hindi na siya talaga pwede. There's no returning back and going back to the old ways. Our storytellers, our artists, our producers will have to find new ways to adapt and to meet a higher benchmark, which has already been presented because of the pandemic. The availability of content, of global content, is more prominent now compared to before. Na, of course, we dub Korean novelas, we dub some series on for Philippine television. Pero ngayon mas ano pa siya, mas magnified na exposure nila. So we will adapt. We will adapt. Cinema, as I said, and free TV right now are challenged. But once we start going back to, kasi ako personally, naghahanap na ako nung gusto ko na rin bumalik ng opisina kahit papano. Bawal pa kami. Pero I think we will have to go back to even twice a month or a couple of times seeing each other. We in Showtime we'll probably have virtual audience already. Ginawa na namin sa ASAP. Nawala yung audience, yung live audience. Nahirapan ng artist namin performing before, na wala talaga, parang ano lang, di ba, tinitake mo. But with a virtual audience, which is actually a good development kasi lahat ng mga hindi nakakapunta sa studio from iba-ibang, from Mindanao to Visayas to other parts of the mga TFC subscribers, nakakaano na sila. They can now be part of the live program virtually. So yun yung mga bagong developments, and we're very quick to adapt to these things. Siyempre naman, issue ngayon, uulitin ko, hirap lang tayo dahil yung pera. We could do more if we had enough resources. We could produce more. We could develop more. We could get the best technology and use them for our programs. Kaya limitation din nga yung pera. But pera lang yan. Sabi nila, kikitain at magagawa ng paraan. So as long as our spirit, yung ating buo yung loob natin, we're very hopeful, and yung grit, di ba? Sabi nga, talagang hindi susuko, lang, tuloy lang ng tuloy. Ngayon walang nanonood. Parang kung walang nanonood sa pelikula ngayon, baka pwede ibenta nga sa Netflix, pwede you recover nyo. So I'm still very hopeful for Philippine entertainment, and I think a lot of our artists, and they have the same aspirations to excel, not only for the local audience, but really for a global audience. We're excited for the future.
Exciting times, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Thank you so much for walking us through, the many challenges and innovations na ABS-CBN has had to push itself towards because of the pandemic and because of the shutdown.
Nakatuwa na may turntable ka dyan, Bea, and your Razorhead vinyl.
Buti na lang medyo may dignity pala kasi wala naman akong vinyl na walang dignidad, pero at least pala. May konting culture pala na showcase sa background ko. But sir, thank you so much for your time. We're so excited also to see what ABS-CBN has in store. Normally, this is where people would plug, where they can get updates, but ABS-CBN has so many branches and accounts to follow. So ABS-CBN Entertainment, you have Star Magic to follow, ABS-CBN Films, also post updates. Meron pang pa dito. I was scanning it on Instagram. Rise Artist Studio, Star Hunt, ang dami. So just search them and you can get updates on upcoming ABS-CBN shows. Yes, sir?
Dadagdag lang ko, we'll announce in the future how people want to be with Star Magic can audition and apply, and the steps we're going to take. We'll make that announcement soon. We're still a growing family, so marami pa namang gustong mag-artista. They can, if you have the talent, we will find you and we'll give you ways on how to connect with us. So
I'll consider that a sign if anyone's watching and deep inside baka tingin mo you have what it takes and maybe it's your destiny. So thank you again, sir, for guesting on Rappler. Thank you for watching. Again, follow ABS-CBN's many accounts on social media for updates on upcoming shows, movies, projects, new talent coming on board and being launched officially via ABS-CBN. Follow Rappler for more interviews like this. This has been Bea Kupin. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.